What's going on, Sumolings? Thank you for joining us for another product walkthrough webinar. I am Lindsay, and today I am joined by the team over at Fresh Proposals. Fresh Proposals helps you create attractive proposals complete with interactive quotes, e-signature, and precise analytics. It is available on AppSumo right now, starting at $49 for a lifetime deal. Before we dive into the walkthrough of the tool, though, I just want to tell y'all a few quick things. The first is that if you want to tell us a little bit about your use case, why you're interested in using Fresh Proposals, you can go ahead and do that over in the chat room. We do love to hear it. Sorry about that. And if you have any questions, though, about the tool, the deal, how to get set up, you can leave those questions over in the Q&A box right down below this video. We do have somebody on standby to answer them, but we'll also be circling back to the questions at the end of the walkthrough. And if you are watching this in our replay, hello to the future, there will be a replay of this available and you can watch it as many times as you want. All right, hello, Houston, USA. I am in Los Angeles as always. All right, hey, Dan, how are you doing today?
I'm good. So hi everyone. Hi, this is Dan from Fresh Proposal. So we are based in Pune from India, and I'm excited for this demo and walkthrough.
We're excited to have you. Grateful to have you in the store. I will go ahead and pass this over to you for the walkthrough, but you can let me know when you're ready for some questions.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you, Lindsay. I think I'm good to go. All right. So I have already shared my screen. Can you see?
Yeah, everything looks great.
All right. So hi everyone. I'm Dan. The product owner for Fresh Proposal. So there's a bit of a background, so I'll not spend much time in describing, what it is and so on. Of course, it's a proposal management software that helps you organize sales proposals. Contrary to the Word document and PDF that we would send across, this is a lot better to manage with the online editor, emailing facilities, and the most importantly, how you're able to analyze, how your client is going to or prospects are going to interact with your proposal, right? So, and it's just one of the use cases. So we have got not just proposal, but contract, quotations, statement of work, and so on. So I'll be happy to walk you through the tool and take up your questions as we move toward the end of this presentation, right? So what I've done, I've already logged in with, uh, okay, I've already logged in with the user. And so let me quickly walk you around with the kind of navigation we have. So what you see on the left-hand side is, the top level of navigation, the dashboard and proposal template, content library, clients and settings. So what we are currently looking at is the proposal document dashboard. So how many deals are there in a given year? We can change the year, how many of them have been won, lost, and how many of them are live. We can set the target. Of course, these are dummy numbers, but you can set it to the number that you wish. So you can say, in this year, I'm going to target, let's say, 35,000 or maybe 350K. And as and when your clients are going to accept your proposal, this achieved number is going to grow up. The proposal acceptance rate per quarter is something that you can find here. And every quarter, you can see of the number of proposals that you send, of those, how many are getting accepted, and this number will show up in here per quarter. Of course, you have a chance to kind of change the categories. You can say I have clients in retail, healthcare, technology, and so on, and group based on those categories. You can see which category of client performing well, right? And of course, as a whole, what is the proposal acceptance rate? And then when the important activities are happening to your proposals, you get to see that these are most important one that will get flagged or highlighted in here. But before I'll move on to next one, the proposals, I would like to quickly take you to the templates part, right? So the templates, as you can see, there are tabs at the top. And so there's a library where it combines all the proposals that you can access. And when I say combine, it is the combination or sum of the default templates that you have that is provided by us. Then you can create your own templates, and so which would get into this customized one. So 16 plus customized is what you will see in library. right? So you can scroll down through this list and look at all the templates that you have created, or your system default template would show up in here. Let me take you to the system template that we have, which are shown in here. So there are categories. So when you click on system templates, so these are the system provided, which are default template that you would see whenever you're going to log in, even without having a single proposal or single template. So these are the system provided templates. So you have different categories of template that you can go through, which are, it could be design, it could be digital marketing, event management, finance, accounting, and audit, and so on. Then there are marketing, the branding and marketing stuff, the professional services. You can create quotations, right? Online quotation, and share it with your, prospective client, as and when they ask for it. There are real estate related quotation, software related proposals, and statement of work. So not just proposals, but you can also write down the statement of work for your client to, have a look at it and say, is this something look good for them, right? So these are the set of templates that you can look through. So of course, as I scroll down, you will see all the list of those templates coming in here, right? So what I can do, I can quickly click on. So there are few options. You can edit it, you can preview that, and you can generate the proposal right here, right? So when I click on edit, it's also going to save a copy for you. But let me click on to a preview, and which is going to open the proposal in a preview mode, right? So I have this thing open in a preview mode. So what we see here is the list of or table of content, right? So if you have used kind of propose PDF, so we have this table of content on the left hand side that talks about, what is this template is about, the cover page, and cover letter, and whole host of sections like statement of work, how we will deliver, what we will deliver, that deliverable, the timeline going to take, the budget that client would have to make a provision for, or whether he's ready for it, why our firm is good for it, the case study, how we are managed. So we will crawl down through this template in a bit time. Terms of services and signature. So what is interesting that you will find, this template that we have built are mostly well crafted, as in the content of it, you will find not only just visually looking good, but also something that we have tried, as I said, to make it as close to the real profession that they would like to propose to their client. So this is the kind of design that you can create, and I'll also of course quickly show you how it can be created using the tool. So it has got the combination of images, and this is a rectangle, the logo and text, and rotation of text and whatnot, the lines and so on. So this is all you can definitely create in Fresh Proposal tool. So let me just quickly get you down. We are previewing this template, and these are kind of the heading per page that you can define, and this yellow thing that you see is the kind of repeater, right? So and it keeps repeating. As I scroll down, you will see it kind of repeating on every other page. Even this one that you see, it's a repeater, right? So this is the cover page where you define that who you are going to address to. Of course, it's a summary of what is the client problem, or recent contact that you have had, what is the problem you're trying to solve, and so of course I'll not get into the details of the content, but you get the point. So whenever you see this something like this, these are called placeholder or variables. So whenever you're going to generate a proposal, this thing is going to automatically get replaced with the value of the client name, the first name, or this client company name will be replaced with the actual client that you're going to select as a part of proposal, right? So all these values that you see, if in place of me, if there is somebody else, my colleague is going to send the same proposal generated from this template, his name and the contact information would appear in here, right? So there is a statement of work. You can have these images and combination of heading to heading, so content alongside text and images alongside this. uh, there is so let me just scroll down, so you can define the timeline using a table like this, where each element of the timeline you can define what the stage activities and so on here. This is very important, the budget part of it. So you can define the pricing table in Zilligis, in preferred proposal, wherein you see the serial number, the title of this, each individual price item, the P item, the description of it, the price element. If there is quantity, this is the fixed kind of fee. I'll talk about it in a moment and what's acceptable. The interesting part of this, you can define and say whether the client should have option to check or uncheck fees. And what you will notice, it's going to impact the price and cost and discount right away. So if this is something that I would like to change, of course, you can also make this editable. So I can change it from 20 hourly rate into or 20 hours into 30 hours, right? So $150 an hour is something that you can change it to something else, and all the numbers are going to reflect. So in a way, what you can now imagine is not only you're going to give the option for the client to select or change, select or deselect piece item, but also the ability to change the quantity. Again, it is something you as a proposer has the control over. So that, for the client perspective, makes the impression that, oh, I have the control over the pricing, that I can change the quantity, I can select, unselect, and I can immediately see how it's going to impact the final number or the price that I'm going to pay for this service, right? So client feel that he's in control of this proposal. So that's a good thing, right? So of course, we will scroll down through this, and there is also a signature. But quickly, what I would like to do is create a proposal from this. So when I click on this create proposal, this is the kind of thing that you would be able to see. You can define the title of the proposal. You can either search by the name if you have too many client contact in here or the client in here. I mean, this is just a sample that I picked up. You can set what is due date. Typically the proposals are supposed to be submitted by certain due date, right? And if you want, this is something optional, is you can say till what date this proposal is going to remain valid, right? So there are advanced option also, where you can input, if you define certain variables, you will be able to input those. You can see with the creator, what's the category you're going to select. You can change the category, proposal ID. You can attach document to the proposal and hit on next, and it's going to take us into the proposal editor page. So I think I've changed something in between, but as we will move into it. Um, so this is how the proposal editor is going to look like. Again, what you see on the left-hand side is the sections list. So the proposals and templates in Fresh proposals are organized as a group of sections. So section, something like cover page, can have one or more pages, right? So we can scroll down, and as you will see, as I'm scrolling down, each of these pages is kind of scrolling on left-hand side also. So it's also similar to PDF if you can visualize that way. So if I want to add a new section to it, I can click on this, and it's going to give me an option to add new section from here. So when I click on that, I get to add a section name and it'll get added to it. Or if I want to add existing section that I have saved to my library, right? So I can use this section, and when I click on this, it's going to get added to my proposal. So this way, you don't have to keep on doing the same work again and again, and you can simply reuse existing section from my section library, right? So you also get to move this thing around. If you want to copy it, rename, and so on, you can do that. So that's about how you can manage this table of content of your proposal. So coming on to the left hand side, let me just do this. So what you see on right hand side is the proposal information. What's the name of this proposal? Of course, these are the variables that you can set with the client. What is the fees or the price that I'm proposing to the client? If you want to have a different currency other than default currency, which you can set for your account. For this particular demo account, we have set dollar. But if let's say I'm trying to propose it to some other client in some other location, so I can very well go ahead and choose or pick up any currency that I wish to pick up from here, and it'll get added to that, right? So that would show up in here. Then you define who's going to sign this proposal when it is due, and of course there are certain more options in here. What you see on right on this top hand side is the content blocks, right? So I can, if I want, I can get the text box here, or the page table, or the content table, signature, shapes. There are multiple shapes that you can add. I'll show you. You can also add images to your proposal. So one by default would show up the images that you have uploaded to your library. The second one is Unsplash. So we have integration with Unsplash. And let's say I don't like this one, so I want to search something like the laptop and hit an enter. So it's going to give me all the laptop images in here, and I can simply drag and drop or click on here, and the image will get added right into the proposal page. There's also video that library that you can add to. So I can just paste a YouTube or Vimeo video in here. It'll get saved to your library, the video library. You can drag and drop in here. So this is broadly about what all elements or the objects you can drag and drop to the proposal. So let me quickly try and add a new page just for the sake of elaboration or understanding purpose. So I can either click, let me just try and drag and drop this text box here. I can change its size, and let's say, sorry, my keyboard. uh, so I can select this text box, put it here, and say, okay, it's a heading one, right? So what you will notice, so when I click on a text box, it is highlighting the text box control at the top. I can undo, redo, I can make it bold, I can underline, and of course change the size. If I want to make it, let's say 48, change the color, I can change the color. You can, change line height, bullet points, and quite a few things that you can really do. Let's say I want to drag drop a fish table. I can do that. And remember how this page table should look like. You have entire control in terms of the color of it and font size, etc. Right. So let me just type it out. Since we are on this, so let me quickly show you, the table options that you can see here. So you can add a tax element to your fish table. Let's say uh, tax, which is 10%. Um, I haven't set the price. I could say, let's say $2,000, and it's a fixed price. So you can have that. And you can also say whether the fee is optional or not. And that way client will be able to see that he can select or not unselected. I can add more fees element to it. And some of these fees you could say two, and okay, let me just see annual fee. I could have said monthly, but let me try it here. So I can set it as a yearly fee and say it's optional fee, whether client can change it or not. And let's say it's again $20,000, and as on when the client is going to change the quantity, it's going to impact these numbers right away. He doesn't have to come back to you telling, can you make it 3 yearly, or if you're going to make it like monthly number, can you take it like 6-month thing, right? So client doesn't have to come to you just for changing some of these numbers. You can do it by itself. You can also come have this content table or shape. For example, let me just try drag and drop this, uh, a shape in here. You got quite a few properties on right hand side. You got similar properties even for text box. You can define the width, height, and color, background, corners, and quite a few things, including the padding and shadow for text box. So if I'm clicking on a rectangle, you can define the width and so on. Of course, you have this mouse control where you can say how it's going to look like, and if you want to add corners to that, it's quite easy. Um, so you can either use this scroller, you can add border to that. uh, change the color, right? So I'm just showing you how it can be done quickly. But of course, when it really comes to making it looking good, of course, this is something that we have designed. Uh, so it doesn't take much time. As you start playing with it, this creative aspect is only limited by how much you can imagine and what you would like to have it in your proposal. So these are broadly a graphical element that you can add to your proposal. And you can see, let me just quickly drag and drop an image. So unlike many other proposal tools where you cannot have some of these elements over each other, you perfectly get to keep this thing on each other. I can even keep this above this. If I want to push this at the back, I can do that, right? So I can have it over the top of this, right? So these are few of these, a way how you really get the control over some of these, I would say, text and graphical element, how you want to organize in your proposal. So that's broadly about how you can use this control. So if I would like to quickly show you the images part, I think, yeah. So I've already tracked an image. So if you want to use Unsplash, that is definitely possible. And remember, other thing is when you click on image, you don't see this text toolbar. It's almost like Google Doc, right? So when you click on image, you don't see the heading one, heading two, right? But when you click on text element, you see this, uh, text control that you can really apply on the text box, right? Uh, so I can scroll down to the next and look at how things are organized for you to really change it. And the way we have designed this proposal is, it's perfectly editable. If you want to change something else from statement of work into scope of work, that absolutely perfect. And uh, it's matter of, just you trying your hands out on this and changing everything you need. Now, before I hop on to some other things, I would quickly like to show you some of these things, right? So you may get a question that what is this yellow thing, right? So these are called variables. So you have one proposal where you have a client called Zappel, and the person is Timothy or Team. So whenever, let's say tomorrow, I want to create another proposal from the same template, and I would like to send it to somebody else, let's say John. So when I add a client to a proposal, software would automatically pick up the client name and place it here. You don't have to really keep typing that. It typically happens when you use Word and stuff like that. You forget to replace some of this name. It happened with me that I sent proposal only to realize that the name was from the last client that I sent, and it was embarrassing to say the least. But all this stupid mistake or oversight can be avoided if you use what we call it as a variable. Most of the other people would like to call it as placeholder, or some of them also call it as shortcode, right? So let's say I want to change it to something else, so I can hit it with uh, some of this variable that is in the list. I can also search by name, like client last name, right? So I can replace it with just simple click. If you want to add a new placeholder variable or shortcode, simply type hash into the text box and you see the list of all templates. The other option you have is on the right side panel is where all the variables are listed. You can scroll through the list, search by the name, and just click on add to it, right? So I can just add a company name at the right place, and it shows me the value. But if I want, I mean, if I start typing in here, of course, it will, uh, remove this variable because it's not the value. It picks up the value from here. So if I change the company name, or this is the company name that I use. So my company name, if I change it from the account information in settings, it will get updated here. So I don't have to keep getting into each proposal and keep typing or modifying this proposal. You just have to change it at one place. So that's the benefit of placeholder variable or shortcode, right? Mm, what else? So I think I would like to move to next. I think, yeah, quickly, let me just crawl you to the next part of it. I think we have already talked about the content table. I'll show you in a moment's time how you can design a content table in this way. You can add it to add a row or column. It's quite simple. You can simply click here and insert a row below here and start typing here. So I'm just entering something for a test purpose or demonstration purpose, but you can really do this, right? Mm, right. So I can undo it also. You have this option to undo it from here. Uh, so there is a budget part of it, and this is where I've already created a piece table for the proposal, and I have defined what's going to be optional and what's going to be editable. So you can have a perfect control on this one. Even at uh, a table level, you have certain options called whether you want to include this P table into the proposal total or not. So in this proposal, if you can see, we have two fees table, and if I want to include both of them as a part of the proposal total, I have this option to say uh, whether do you want to show a table total or not. So you can tick on it and you will see this option disappearing the bottom thing, right? So typically people don't want to use this as an option when they have this recurring fee also, right? Whether you want to skip subtotal, you can do that. Whether you want to show discount or not, you have this control over that. You can separate out the recurring fees. So you don't want to uh, show recurring fee as a part of it because that does not reflect correctly. Sometimes people want to do that, so you can separate that out also. At a table level, you can also define what is how it is going to be look like, how the font color should be, the background should be for the header, for the body and footer. So you can define all of it as and when you want. But I'll show you what we have is called a style setting or design setting, where you can define how each table, even if you add, let's say three content table, the one we just saw above, and each one of them should look like same. So you can define that in a style uh, setting. So let me show you how it can be done, right? So let me click on advanced tab. So you have some more option. And when I click on settings, let me just cover this part first. In in text settings, you can really define how your heading one should really look like. So what you see when heading one is selected, the proposal document is only showing clearly the heading one. The rest of these things is kind of blurred, right? So you can only see the heading one. If I have to move to heading two, I don't have any heading 2 element on the page, but if I click on heading 3, you see only the heading 3 element is highlighted. And if I want to change the style of it to something else, I can change the font family from here. I can absolutely pick up any font that I wish. I can search by the name. So we have quite a few set of, Google font added to it, and we will be adding more into it as we go along. But I think you get the point. You have the ability to change the font and also the font size for H3. So you are kind of defining how H3 is going to look like, right? Whether it should be bold and what should be the alignment and so on. When it comes to body, you see all these things as body, and you can also uh, say I would like to pick up some other font style for this. So you can really pick it up or choose the font family that you want to wish. If you want to change the font size, that's perfectly all right. So the beauty of this thing is you don't change really. You get to preview that how it will look before you actually set. Some of the other tool that you would have probably looked at is it doesn't give you a choice to change or preview the changes that you define for these elements without really uh, saving it. So fresh proposal gives you that choice. Now moving on to the fees or the content setting, uh, how a table should look like. So I can define how the header should be looking like, the body, the font style should be picked up from body, uh, which is this text, I can pick it up for something else also. The body of the table, what the font combination, the background, the border, the size of it, the padding. So you can define that. Similarly for footer, you can set what is the page setting of it. You can orient the proposal page for portrait mode or landscape mode. You can define the page size. So you have a few choices in here, and once you save, it's going to get reflected. That's a styling mode. So that's how you define how the proposal, the design style is going to be, right? The advantage of that is, so I'm not saving this for a moment. The advantage of that is you bring the consistency. You don't have one place where it looks, a one font like the Vardhana, and some other place it looks something. I mean, let's say there's a body, and at one place it's Vardhana, and some other place it looks like Roboto, right? No, that doesn't happen with this. It's all consistent, and you don't have to manage or keep struggling with those aspect, which I have struggled quite a few times in the past. So it's quite simple to use that in that sense. Now I would like to show you what we have called a repeater. So you see some of these elements on a proposal page. Even when you use templates, something that you cannot click is called a repeating element. So these are page repeater, and you can uh, decide what element should get into a repeater. Uh, I mean, in Word, Microsoft Word or Google Doc terminology, we call it as page footer or page header. But Trace Proposal goes even further. You can have repeater even on left hand side, right hand side, even in the middle or anywhere on the page, and it'll keep repeating. So let me just take you to the repeater. So this number, page number, even the black circle that you see, these are a part of repeating elements, and you can identify this repeating element when you hover around. You don't get to take action, like you can see here, there is a delete and move option, but you don't get to see that. It's kind of shows it's a repeating element. So in advanced tab, we have this repeater option, and when I click on that, so this is something that I can highlight now, and I can drag drop like images. So I can also have image. Let's say you want to have company logo, so you can add it to the page, and it'll keep repeating. So I'm not adding it, for copyright issue. I mean, just wanted to show as a demo. But if you have your company logo, you can simply drag drop here, and it'll keep repeating on every page. And you have option to say whether you want to show it on a cover page or not. So usually we don't have a repeating element on the cover page. So everything else, like shape and text box and image and shapes that you see, all the properties remain the same, that you have control. You can change the color and so on, right? So, and it keeps repeating on all the pages. You just have to change it once, and it'll look all good for you, right? So that's a repeater element for you. You can also have in the text box, as you see, these are all variables or placeholder. You can include those, even a repeater element. So you want your company name, even the client name to appear on every page. Yes, so it's quite simple. You can do that also. Yeah, as we are approaching, I would like to quickly jump onto some of these things of sending it to the client and proposal summary, which are very critical element of the proposal tool. Um, yeah, so one important aspect that you should keep in mind is when you want to get, let's say you have your own template or proposal that you want to kind of port or get into fresh proposal. What I would recommend is you copy paste your content from your Word file or Google Doc into a notepad. It'll make it like a plain text, and then you copy paste into it, because all this Google Doc and Word has a lot of junk, or a lot of classes and anything that goes with it. So we want to avoid that, messing up with your proposal in here. So make sure that when you copy paste from Word doc or Google document, you paste it into a notepad, and then paste it into this proposal editor. When we click on next, let me just see. So we have this proposal. When we click on next, uh, it says that please set a signee for the signature, right? So I have some signatories, and I have not assigned a client to a signature. When I click on okay, it tells me that this is a signature, and I can set signature property. So this signature is designated or meant for Tim Cook, but it is not assigned. So there can be multiple signatures in your proposal. And when I click on signing, it will save it and I can click on next, right? So you can have, as I said, you can have multiple client contacts added to a proposal, and multiple of them can have signatures assigned to them, so that each individual responsible client person can sign that proposal, right? So let me click on next. So I'm going to save this. Okay. Hmm, one moment. Right. So we have this email wizard. We got it, email wizard. So this is where different kinds of email templates are available. One is initiating, which is introduction. While other one is to remind and to thank. So introduction is pretty straightforward. So let me just pick up from here. But reminder happens automatically. So it checks whether the client or the prospect has opened your proposal or not. And only if he has not viewed, it will remind prospect that this is submitted for your review. Kindly review that and let us know. So it, instead of doing that blank or blind follow-up, system does that kind of, it knows whether the client or prospect has viewed it or not, and it will automatically send it. And similarly, whenever the prospect is going to accept the proposal, the thanking email template will be sent to the client whenever he accepts or she accepts the proposal. It is to thank, and the thanking email also contains a link to download the PDF file, which is the signature. I'll show you in a moment's time. So this is the email which will go out to the prospect, and we have kind of optimized the subject and body so that it gets delivered with a high deliverability rate, right? So you can also see how it's going to look like, from whom and who is going to receive that. See that proposal name and by company name, it get populated. Uh, this is how it's going to look like for end user, how on mobile it's going to look like. So when I click on send, it's going to get shoot to the prospect, right? So this is how a prospect is going to see that. So we had this proposal listing page. This is where you will, so I'm moving on to the proposal tab. This is where you get to see, one moment. Oh yeah, so yeah, so this is where it lists all the proposals that are in different state of it. I can choose the and filter out the proposal that I wish to filter out on, also based on the dates. You have options. You can edit that and view that proposal. Look at the summary of it. You see certain lock items. So it tells that client has viewed that proposal, right? So it's kind of locked. It doesn't mean that you cannot edit it, but it's just that it kind of get audit logged, or it creates a history that the proposal was locked and it now unlocked by whom and so on. To ensure that there is a transparency in the way you, when the client has opened it, viewed it, and then you change something, right? So that doesn't really make sense. And I mean, there would be situation where client would like you to modify the proposal. Of course, in that case, you can unlock it, make the changes, and then again send the proposal to your prospect. And now let me quickly click on this proposal summary so that we can see how it's going to uh, show us this information. So you get to see proposal analytics for a given proposal uh, that was sent. So how much time the client has spent looking at this proposal, how many times he or she has viewed, what is the average time viewing it, the time since when it was last viewed. And this is even more critical, that how much time prospect has spent on each section. I get to see that. Again, this is the test data which I spent time looking at it, but you can really get it, right? So when a client or prospect is going to spend more time in terms and services, or statement of work, or the pricing, it gives you a different sense of involvement or the engagement or the interest level, right? So if a client is looking and spending more time into statement of work, has one meaning. If your client is going to spend more time looking at pricing, has some significance. If it's going to look at terms of services, which is contracting definition, it's altogether a different level of engagement, right? So you can imagine and accordingly decide to pick up your phone or email him with that information, and that gives you a better chances of closing your deal with your prospect. So that's the proposal analytics page. You can look at a proposal activity, what all major changes that have happened, when was it edited, when was it viewed, and so on. So you can see that. You can also see the timeline, when was it initiated and viewed and signed and so on. Proposal details page, where you see what is the proposal, timeline, and who proposed it from the client side. If there are multiple people, it will show up in here. If you want to don't want to send it through fresh proposal and use your own email client, you have this link here as you look at the client name, and this link is unique for that contact. So if you have multiple contacts, each one of them would have a unique and different link that you can really use in here. So when I click on this link, it's going to give me a choice to copy this proposal link, and I can copy and I can use my own email to send a proposal, right? So you get to delete that. You can make a copy of this proposal. You can download the proposal that has been signed. So if I click on it, it will generate a proposal PDF. So let me just do that uh, in here. So I'm opening it up. I hope it opens in here. Okay, so I think in the meantime, what I can do, I can really pick this up. What I've done is I have put this into, okay, let me just click here, copy and paste it here. Right. So I've already signed this, but when your prospect is going to open it, this is how it's going to look like, and he can really click on it, and it's going to pop up the name that he can fill in. Let's say John Doe and designation, and tick this box and say submit. So this way it's going to get signed by that person, and when it is signed, this is how it's going to add signatories to it. Let me just try and download. Somehow it's not opening it up. I would like to show you how that PDF is generated, and it has this signature element added to it. Mm. Yeah. So this is your proposal. I can scroll down. So it has all these values, picked up, and this is exactly how your prospect or client is going to look at it. So let me just scroll down very quickly, based on right. So this is something signed by the client. So this it shows up in here, designation, and this is the signature certificate, which makes it kind of authentic. I have not signed it, but I could have signed it before sending this proposal. When Tim Cook signs it up, it shows up, the person who signed it, the signature, the email ID, IP address, and this is something is required when it was signed. And then it gives you the timeline, when was it created, whom, when, from what IP address, and whatnot. So it has all this information that is something required for the PDF or the proposal document to be legally binding, right? So we have it in our record, but also the client gets it. So he knows that, this certificate makes it very authentic, that the proposal has not been tampered and so on, right? And when it was generated and so on, right? So this is so one important thing, client can, I mean, we have this info section, but client can also add comment to it. So if I just move on to this, I can really add a comment to any place that I wish. And this is something has been missing in most of this tool. So let's say I want to add a comment about this, and I can pinpoint to this place, or I can simply add a page level comment, but let me just add it here. Uh, when will this get started? And a client comment will be added, and it is on a specific point, not anywhere else. So I don't really have to search. So as a proposer, I don't really have to search for this, and I know I have to look for this comment in here, right? So that's and you can also kind of see whether that comment is resolved or not. That way you can track all the comments made by the client or the prospect and make sure that each one of them has been resolved. Uh, right. So each one of those have been resolved by us before the client accepts this proposal, right? So that's yeah. So I think that, yeah, before I kind of get going, I would like to quickly touch on to uh, the content library. So content library is a place where you can store or kind of centralize your reusable content, like sections or the piece table. So you can add those pieces that you keep using again and again in here, and keep using those into the fee table. I think I missed that. So you can import fees into your proposal. Maybe I'll add a link as a comment to it. But yeah, so it's also available as a part of our documentation. Help guide is also available here. So fees table can be used, or the fees library, these individual items which are used multiple times, can be imported into the fees table. So you don't have to keep typing every time you want to add it. Then there are images that you want to organize into your content library, the videos that you can really manage from here. So that's the content library. The beautiful part of a content library or the section library is, if I can quickly go to this proposal, let me just see if it is related, this one. Uh, mm, Let me just drag and drop this. I mean, I'm making some changes to it, and I would like to see if that gets saved. I'm not sure, these two things are actually, the same section is saved from here, but let me just try that out for you. So what I've done is I have modified a section why us in one of the proposals. And I feel like, this is one of the finest copy that I would like to use it again and again. So uh, I can really go in here, and let me just quickly refresh the page. Oh, I didn't really push the, uh, right. So what you can do in the section library, or so the section list in a proposal or template, I click here, you have option to save this section to a library or get from library. So when I click on save to library, it's going to push this section to the section library. So let me just kind of refresh this now. And you see the change is kind of reflecting here. I added that, so it's kind of showing up in my content library. I don't really have to do that. So let me just kind of quickly do another change the color of it and save it. And a bit of fun. Let me just see, it's something, yeah. So if I import it from the library, mm, you see the color of it has changed. So you really get the point, right? So you don't really have to add manually and delete the existing one. So it keep pushing, it get the changes that you make. So you'll really get the point that if I keep refining my proposal and template over a period of time, you want to push the changes across multiple places. So instead of getting those added and then an old one deleted, this is so easy that you simply push it, and wherever you want to get or reuse this, simply import it from the library and it will get it. So with that, I think I have broadly covered most of the things I wanted to cover. I would open it up for you to ask the questions. Lindsay, for you.
All right, Sumolings, you know the drill. If you have any questions, this is your moment to leave them in the Q&A box. I'm going to go through the ones that we've got here. Does the currency have an exchange feature? Meaning if I have a project for 10,000 USD, will switching currencies give an equivalent price in the new currency?
Uh, Currently, we don't have a currency exchange feature as such, but I think we can do something about this. So we have been getting this kind of questions, especially in European countries. So they have this euro and GBP and some of this currency they want to do it, but we don't have exchange feature as such. But we will explore this one, whether and how well we can do this one.
Great.
Thanks for asking this question. Yeah.
Can you add a discount rate for multiple years if the client wants to add months or years on their own? Example, annual rate is 55,000, but each year the client adds will give a 15% discount automatically.
Okay, this is kind of a bit tricky, but let me just on the first part is yes possible. Okay, let me just move on to the budget part of it. I hope you can see my screen, right? So
Yeah.
so I have this hourly or yearly thing. Okay, I need to get into editor part. Okay. Mm-mm. Right. So we have this yearly fee. So what I can do is I can add a row level discount. So for yearly fee, I can say, okay, I want to have annual discount of 15%. Sorry, 50%, that's too much, right? Yes, so you can add discount to yearly fee. Yes, so that's possible. So the second part of the question was, sorry, let's again, yeah, annual rate.
It just says if
Yes,
the client adds the years on their own, does it do the discount
yes,
automatically?
yes, yes,
Sheldon's
yes, it
happy.
happens, right? Yes, that's right.
All right. Can you show how the proposal looks on a tablet or iPhone screen?
Right. So we have a preview feature. So let me just take you there. Okay. Somehow, yeah. So before you could really send it, so you can see how it's going to look like on a tablet. So this is preview. Of course, on real device, it's going to look even better than this. So this is a tab interface that you can see how it's going to look like on a tablet. Uh, yeah, so you can scroll through this, or you can see when you hold it like an iPhone, how it's going to look like. So it's more of preview for you to see how your proposal or template before you send it to the client, how it's going to look like. So you get to see that as a preview. Yes.
Wonderful. Does this create page breaks automatically while in the editor? And are page breaks transferable to the PDF version so the download looks nice and clean?
Uh, so page break does not happen automatically, but we have, if you remember, I talked about large content, right? So you, if you get it from your Word doc or Google Doc, you copy paste into a notepad, make it a plain text. And if you paste it into a text box, it will keep creating, multiple pages. So that way, yes. So first part of it automatically creates uh, sections or pages for the content, but it really isn't that way. So let me just, kind of take you to this. What you can do, you can, okay, yeah. So you can add a page manually to here, and if you want to add, right, so I can move here, so you can add element to it. So this way you can define what would get into it. So but to answer your question in two folds, one is when you keep adding text through copy paste, it will create automatically, but for other than that, it doesn't create pages automatically. But this is something that we are already aware of, and we are trying to see how well we can really make it easier for you to fix or use it. And as I said, even the PDF looks really nice. The way we have looked at. Let me see. Yeah, I have opened. Yeah, so this is the PDF that I have just created based on the proposal that we generated. So it looks exactly same. It's unlike other tools, where you see something else, and in PDF, no, you get what you see on your screen. Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you. When you add social media icons, can you add a link to connect or follow to the media, Twitter?
Not on images, but to the text box, yes. That's a good point. Probably we can quickly add a link to the images. Yeah, it's a doable thing. We haven't done that, but we could do it very quickly.
Are the headings in the price table editable? Is it possible to create service packages so clients choose between package like 1 and 2, each with specific and different specifications?
Right. So I'll answer your question in two parts. So headings in the price table at the moment is not editable. If your question is coming from multi-language support, so we are already working on that, and hopefully we would be able to show you something going ahead in next month, at least for the client view. So though it is not editable at the moment, from the multi-language support part, it will look, let's say in Spanish, it will look Spanish and so on, but we do have a plan to make it editable, even for you, even in English. So instead of you want to have title, you want to describe it something else, you should be able to do that. So we are aware of this, and we are working on it. Yes. To answer your second question, packages. So we don't really have a way of saying this is package, but there is a workaround that you create one set of things in one fee table. That one page you define all the element that you want to offer it as a first package, and the other set of fees items, or the proposition you have for your prospect, you club all that element into the second pricing page, uh, and you club them together, and you can have instruction on the page that you can select either one of these two. But we are aware of it. It's not the best one. We can, of course, not almost every other tool that you would look, probably they don't have this feature. I think we can do a better job here, of course. Yeah, so we will be able to try something on this and see how well we can be able to provide a packaging option as well. But I think, yeah, it's a good point. Thank you.
Great. If I change the proposal layout size, like from a letter to A4, how does Fresh Proposals manage that?
No, fresh proposals wouldn't be able to manage it for one simple reason. You When you define elements or organize elements onto a page, you place them at certain location. It doesn't really automatically translate into something else. So I mean, my recommendation is you should decide the layout first, whether you want to have A3, A4, or landscape or portrait template before you really start designing things. So, but again, even if you change it at any other point in time, you can quickly realign those. But it's very difficult, if from the tool provider perspective, it's not easy for me to really, I mean, to understand your intention of placing certain things below and away from it. So it really for you to decide whether you want to place and where.
Great, thank you. Can I import icons to my library if I don't find something I need?
Sorry, I lost the question.
Oh,
I'll go back to that
that was
answer
me.
one.
Can I import icons to my library if I don't find something I need?
Yes, so you can upload images. So if I can quickly move on to here, if you're looking at it, so you can so you can browse and add whatever images that you want to add. You perfectly have the control. Yes, so you can do that. Yes.
Great. All right, the next question. Can modules of contents or of budgets be saved and reused?
Yes, so I think we looked at it. So you organize your content as sections. It can have images, tag box, speech table, content table, whatever you have. So whatever you see on left hand side, right? So these are all sections. So what content you want to use it again, and we looked at sections library. So this is section library, right? So the element that you wish to reuse again, you can organize it better. And I just kind of explain this thing how it can be really reused across multiple places, multiple proposals and template at the same time. And even the changes can be propagated from one template to another template, one template to proposal, proposal to template, proposal to proposal, and so on.
Great. We've got time for just a few more questions, Sumolings. This one, can you do a hyperlink in the table of contents for the proposal, or would a type of the left section of the proposal be seen by the client?
Mm,
So that left section, I think, that shows each.
Currently, okay. Not at the moment, but don't be sorry for this question. I think we are liking it. So they are already hyperlinked, but I think we will evaluate it. How we can expose it. Maybe what you want is you want to give that link so that client can really jump onto budget directly into your proposal. I think that's what your question is. Not at the moment, but allow us to explore this thing in and figure it out. But I think it should be possible. That's my hunch.
All right. Is there a shareable link for a proposal with a short and friendly URL?
So this is something that we discussed today. We are looking at it, not at the moment, but we understand that you would like to shorten it. So we are looking at it, and hopefully we should be able to find something workaround or maybe a solution for that.
Follow up regarding uploading graphics and icons. What format can be imported?
Currently, we allow JPEG, JPEG, JPG, PNG. Um, we are planning to allow SVG also going forward. And what you will notice is, I mean, at least in the proposal tool category, most of them don't support SVG. So we will have, I mean, I think we should be able to provide that SVG also.
All right. And this will be our last question for a person with an agency. Can each consultant have their own access and view? Can the admin see all the consultants' proposals?
Um, So if there, I mean, of course, so you have multiple users in your tool, they can be multiple admin, but fresh proposal at the moment is not a agency sort of tool. This is something that we have been working, and it's not really part of the AppSumo deal, but what we are planning to allow you to do that you can manage a account on behalf of your client. So let's say there is a conglomerate like General Electric, and they have got multiple businesses. So each one of them would like to operate on their own. So you as an agency can really give them access and manage their account for you. Of course, each one of them would have their own admin, but you would be kind of super admin. So again, it's a feature which is still being developed. So it's not, of course, gone live, but something that we hope will be able to provide going forward. Yes. So
All
I think there is
right.
a question
Thank
that I
you.
see sorry, one last question. There is a question
Yeah.
about integration with Stripe. So yes, so we have something already in work for Stripe, and we hope by next month we should have it ready, and we will submit it for the approval. And I think, yeah, so people will be, you would be able, should be able to accept a payment when your client accept a proposal. So you can say, you need 50% advance, and client could be able to pay it right through your proposal. So that's something that we have been already working on it, and hopefully it will be available for you by next month.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Sumolings, if you have not already, you can go to AppSumo right now to redeem your codes for fresh proposals. I just saw another question sneak in there. We are running out of time, but I am going to do this last one. How is the mechanics of members in a package subscription? Do they participate in a project drafting? Are they able to be invited, etc.?
So you can invite them. So there are multiple rules, either as a viewer or editor. So they can participate in that sense. So multiple team members can work on the same proposal. Currently, it is open for all, and then you can invite, let's say, three people and as editor, and all of them would be able to see all the proposals. But going forward, so that's available at the moment. But going forward, we are planning to refine those access levels so you can control who can see what and so on. It's kind of going to get into a different league. But yeah, so to answer your question, currently even now, team members can participate in project proposal drafting, and they can be invited in multiple roles as a viewer also as well as editor. But going forward, you will have the ability to control their access also.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And that is going to be our last question. So Sumolings, if you have any more, of course, you can leave those on the deal page. We definitely want to see your reviews on the deal page. Right now, Fresh Proposals has a 5 taco rating and 15 reviews. And if you have more wonderful things to say, you can go leave those there as well. And as always, Fresh Proposals is on AppSumo starting at $49 and is backed by AppSumo's 60-day guarantee. So you can go ahead and get started, play around with it, and see how it works for you. And yeah, let us know how it's going for you over in the comments. Leave more questions on the deal page, and that's going to be it. Thank you so much, Dan, for hanging out with us today.
Thank you everyone for taking time and participating. Love you all. Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye.
Have a good one. Bye bye.